Okay, here we go. Well, first and foremost, I want to welcome everybody in taking the time to join us after your lunch break. I know that this time of day, sometimes things get slowed down, but not during COVID. I think everybody's on fire, ready to go, because we still need to bring business back to our local economy. And that's why we're doing these things. Really want to thank our sponsors, LINXS and T-Mobile both, for help supporting us in terms of allowing us to do these things, really to empower our community and let them know where the opportunities are. We really prefer to do this in person, like we really originally scheduled, but unfortunately we cannot, but we want to be safe, and safety remains a priority for us. So right now, this distancing socially thing is what we have to do with, and I think everybody's learning how to do that, and everybody's really good at getting on these things now. So really want to take a minute to thank you guys for participating and continue to do that. And as you know, as I said earlier, that we are on a mission to help small businesses in this path to recovery, and we're doing all we can. We did put up on our website, if you go to our website, abala.org, there's on the homepage, there's a button that says solutions. If you click on that, there's some helpful information we procured in the past that's been very helpful. Some example of that is now that most people got PPP loans, you'll have to learn how to be forgiven on those loans. So there's an application on there as well to have you look through it. That'll change a little bit is our guess, but we will update that as much as we can to let you know the forgiveness part. And some things on there that you may not know is the city of LA has a paint restoration program. Due to the process that happened, I think they have a program to help the community. So you can find more information on that on our website. Lastly, there's also some guidelines how the state is recommending how businesses reopen. So these are some things we thought would be good resources, among other things, that help you bring business back. But speaking of getting business back, 2 days from now, Thursday, we'll be partnering with the Little Tokyo Business Improvement District at 2 o'clock. Most people here will be joining the 2 o'clock session because we will be doing that in English and how we bring those local businesses back. At 3 o'clock, we'll be doing one in Japanese, and I probably will not participate in that one, but we're helping that local economy over there as well. Next week, we will show you how to future-proof your business, letting technology, so out of the technology that you can adapt to help your business grow. And these are coming from our members, so we get to feature some of our business members as well on that thing next week. So if you have a chance to join us next week to do that, all leading to next Saturday. Next Saturday, Asian American organizations across the country, nationally and locally, will participate in our second presidential town hall. When I say second, because we did this 4 years ago in Vegas, now it's going to be virtual, so sign up will be available, or it's available now. So I say this to say that it's still a great time to join ABA. You as someone that you know can benefit from these programs. There's a lot of things that's coming down the pipeline, so you'll be the first to know. And at the same time, you'll be also supporting an organization that supports the Asian American-owned businesses here locally. With that in mind, I would like to remind you that this session will be recorded for our future broadcast, for future posting. Questions, please use the Q&A box. We will do our best to get everything answered. And now I'm going to go over today's agenda really quick, and I'm going to turn this program to Jay. But just to let you know, what we're doing today is we're going to go through Jay, who'll be our chair of our association. He's going to help moderate our panel, our STEAM panel, all walks of public agencies here in Southern California is ready to do business with you. They're very excited to be on this call, and we're very lucky to have them all. And we'll do that. Again, if you have any Q&A, let's save them at the very end. Just send us those Q&A for the time being, and then we'll go from there. But allow me to welcome Jay Chung. Jay, I will turn this program over to you to handle with our panels. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining ABA's continuing mission to provide education and information to our members so that we keep you informed even during time of COVID. And this is one of the few webinars that I've attended. I'm glad to see ABA is continuing to provide information through ABA webinar platforms. There are 3.5 million firms in California, and majority of these firms are small businesses. And out of the 35.6% of these California firms are minority owned, and 213,000 plus firms in Los Angeles County are Asian owned. And with those numbers, we feel that minorities should be better represented in the contracting space, especially because we're ABA, Asian business owners and businesses. Many of you are not aware that minority certification could help enhance their businesses and their bottom line success. And many of you may not also know that how to go about securing these contracts and opportunities from these public agencies. And that's the purpose of today's webinar. We've invited distinguished members from government contracting firms who will give us their insight on how to get businesses and do businesses with government entities. The first speaker in our roster is Dr. Giovanna Brasfield. Dr. Brasfield, if you can say hello to everybody.
Hello, ABA. It's great to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Dr. Brasfield, commonly known as Dr. G, serves as a senior supply diversity and community inclusion officer for Flatiron Construction as the VP of Diversity and Inclusion. Also serves as the inclusivity manager for LINXS JV on the Los Angeles World Airport Automated People Mover project. She assists the Southwest District Manager and the Division Manager in meeting contractual requirements on current projects and upcoming projects, pursuits that engage women, diverse businesses, local workforce, and youth engagement. Dr. Brasfield is a true advocate, leader, and change agent within construction who is passionate about inclusion and others within construction and construction-related trades. Dr. Brasfield has been named by the construction industry bloggers as one of the 2019 top 50 construction influencers across the United States, and by the Los Angeles Business Journal as a finalist for the Rising Star Award, and by Diversity Professional Magazine as a game changer. And with that, Dr. Brasfield, if you would present with us with your wisdom.
Well, thank you, Jay and Dennis, both for inviting LINXS to be here today to share information about our upcoming pursuits. And on behalf of LINXS Joint Venture, which is a joint venture comprised of Flatiron, Floor, Balfour Beatty, and Dragados, I would like to say again, thank you. It's such an honor to partner. So we have our presentation available that we'll show shortly. And with me, I'll you'll get a chance to meet the person that handles all of our outreach. And she is so influential in helping our small businesses connect to opportunities on our particular project. And I'll have her say some words when we get a little bit later in the presentation, but her name is Danielle Liu. So wave, Danielle.
Hey, everyone.
So while Bianca gets our technology up, I'll just go ahead and get started. So we're going to go for today's conversation. It's more so an introduction, which is going to go into who we are. Then we're going to talk about procurement for processes, certification requirements. Then we'll go into current business opportunities. Then we have a success small business story that we're going to share from participating with our project, one of the things that has happened to grow a business. And then also we'll share some next steps in that whole process. So again, my name is Dr. Giovanna Brasfield. I'm commonly known as Dr. G. I am Flatiron's Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion, and I work with the Southwestern Division. And in my role to assist Flatiron with initiatives, I've been assigned to be the inclusivity manager for the automated people mover and working with the LINXS joint venture, which again is comprised of 4 different construction companies, such as Flatiron, Dragados, Balfour Beatty, and Floor as the managing partner. And my role is to work very closely with our next person. We have Danielle will say.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. G. Hi, everyone. My name is Danielle Liu. On the LINXS project, I am the small business and certified firm outreach coordinator. So I am basically the go-between between the project and the contracts team, as well as the certified firm community. And so just kind of to demystify some of the jargon that we're using in today's presentation, we're being inclusive of all businesses, and you'll see later on that we do have several different requirements for certifications, but we refer to all small businesses on this project as just in general certified firms. So if you hear that, you commonly hear small business, but for the purposes of our project, we refer to small businesses as the entire certified firm community. So that is my role in the project.
And so what is the project, you might be asking? It's a 2.25 elevated guideway project that's going to change the whole face of Los Angeles World Airport. And so it's going to improve congestion around the airport and actually be able to take people going from terminal to terminal in a faster speed. And so this particular project is 4.9 total. $billion if you include the operations and maintenance, but for the design and construction is 2.9 billion. And for the inclusivity team, one of the things that's really important to not only us as a joint venture independently of one another, but also for the owner of this project, which is under the Los Angeles World Airport. So of course, it's a great opportunity for collaboration. We as inclusivity oversee small business inclusion, workforce, there's charitable giving, there's youth engagement, there's also opportunities for so many different efforts under this institute. We have a LINXS Training Institute, which we'll talk about a little bit later for some of the things that Danielle works on to making sure we maximize inclusion for the business community. So this, for example, that you have here on the slide in front of you is how complex this particular joint venture is. This is a P3, one of the city's first P3 projects, and it's operated under the Los Angeles World Airport. And so there's so many different components of the overall joint venture, but we're gonna focus specifically on the LINXS constructors component, where again, I've been touching on, there's the Floor, Balfour, Flatiron, and Dragados component of it. And then those are our designers on the left-hand side. We work very closely with HDR as well as HNTB, and Bombardier is the APM operating system supplier. So, and this is a 5-year contract where we'll be focusing on this particular left-hand side at the bottom. Our next slide. So I've kind of already touched on this. I don't want to revisit it too much, but this is a little bit more in detail about the project, which we already talked about, 2.5 elevated guideway and so forth and so on. So we'll go ahead and go to the next slide, where we want to have Danielle go into details about the procurement opportunities.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. G. So this is probably the slide, this one and the next one that everyone's most interested in. So I'm just going to go very quickly through the process of how to actually get connected to the contracts team. So this is basically how we do it. It's very simple. We have an email address that we designate for all incoming inquiries, and you can actually find this email address on the LINXS website as well. So if you want to jot this down, I monitor that email inbox. So anything that you send to me, I will see. I will respond to you within like 48 hours. And this is just the best way for us to track all the inquiries, because as we know, everything needs to be documented, as this is a public project and we need to report on everything. So this is where you can reach us, the small business or the certified firm outreach team. And what we do is we send out email blasts from this email address. So oftentimes when we have scopes of work that are available, we send out what we call notice of interest emails. And that's just a real simple email blast that comes out. It describes the scope of work that the project is looking for. And right now we're looking mostly at construction trades, because as we mentioned, most of the design work is already done. So we're kind of about a year into construction right now. So professional services, not so much. I know that's one that a lot of people ask about, but we are mostly looking for construction trades right now. So when those scopes of work become available, we will email it out to our entire certified firm database, and that includes all of the email addresses from the certification directories that are located online, and we'll go through the certification requirements on the next slide. But once you get that email and you see, oh my gosh, they're looking for painters and I have a painting firm, I'm going to respond to that email with the information that's requested. And that will kind of be all you need to do at that point. Once you submit your interest, my team will go through, will review all the firms that respond. We'll make phone calls if we need to make phone calls for further information. And we'll basically package up all of the firms that respond, and then we hand that list over to the LINXS contracts team. And then they do all of their work, their research. They might make more phone calls, ask for more information, and then they compile the bidders list. So basically our job is to make sure that the certified firms that are qualified for a certain scope of work do get included on that bidders list. So nothing groundbreaking there, but that's just, very transparently how our process works. Obviously, the contracts team goes through the process of reviewing the bids. They then select the firm that they want to award the contract to. And if you are a certified firm that was not selected, but you were included on the bidders list, you do have the option, and you should always reach out to us and ask for a debrief. So those are the basic 5 steps. I know it's kind of a quick overview, but the best thing that I can say to get involved is to really make sure you connect with us through that email and make sure you get on our email list, because that's the best way for you to get that information on the project. And if we could have the next slide, please. So these are the requirements on the LAWA LINXS project. And as you can see, there are 4 different certification requirements. Small business, local small business, and disabled veteran-owned business. So again, design work, that first column is mostly completed. Now we're concentrating on construction. So you can see those percentages there. And in total, it's $585 million worth of work in design and construction. So that's a really big number. So far, we are tracking to the goal, so we're doing well. But that's just so you have an idea of what we're looking for. And if you want more information on LAWA's business programs, we left the link down there at the bottom of the slide, but you can just Google it and that'll show you a little bit more about their requirements for other projects that they have as well. Next slide, perfect. So these are our current and upcoming opportunities. Like I mentioned, we are looking for construction trades right now. So we actually just sent out a notice probably about 3 weeks ago for these scopes, but we're looking specifically for doors, door frames, and hardware. Flooring, concrete, not just decorative hardscape, but flat work as well. Fireproofing, and the rest of the scopes that will be released probably in the next few months are going to be all related to building the stations for the people mover. So that's kind of a quick overview of what we have coming up. Obviously, as we all know, construction is very dynamic and schedules aren't, super set in stone. So things are very flexible. But, as soon as our team is made aware of opportunities, we will make you all aware of it. So we don't hide anything. Things are set out right away. Kind of our best advice would be, again, check your emails, reach out to us at that email address, ask us about what primes are awarded contracts, because as for smaller businesses, it's best to think about, bidding work as a sub-tier, right? You might not be able to handle a $30 million contract, but maybe you can handle a $2 million contract under a prime. So, pairing with primes, and then also we do have set-asides as well. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on that, but there are some certain scopes that we've set aside that will specifically go to certified firms. And once those are made available, not quite yet, we will, of course, advertise those as well. And I think that's it for our upcoming scopes. So we'll hand it back to Dr. G.
What's important for us as a firm is to make sure that you have and meet the person that's handling the scope of work. And so Danielle, like I mentioned before, is a key person with our outreach and inclusion and connecting the certified firms with the procurement team, and then also vetting out that opportunities for what it looked like and unbundling and making sure that it's the right fit for the right bid for the details and walking through the process. So with that, we also offer with the guidance of Modern Times, which is the firm that Danielle works for, is our small business mentor protege program. So like I talked about a little bit earlier, is that LINXS has a training institute. And so there's 8 different focuses, but for this particular conversation, we only focus on 2 for small business inclusion, which is our mentor protege program. And we have 12 courses over an annual basis that we roll out to educate the certified firm community. And so those are free classes. You'll get a chance for participating today and more information on those classes when we'll make sure that we work with Dennis and get that calendar out to you, Dennis, for membership. But for our mentor protege program, this is a certified firm that had a chance. He attended some of the events. He got a contract on the particular project. And then he said he was interested in participating in the particular project, which is mentor protege. We assisted him with relationships, helping his business with looking at infrastructure, marketing plans, and really developing that roadmap to help him accomplish kind of some of the obstacles he was facing to overcome. And he is one of the spotlights that we did. His name is Sean from Geo-Advantec. And so we're so honored to really work with him closely to help him address any needed issues. And he finished his program late last year, which is end of December 2019. So our next steps.
Perfect, and
I'll
that's
hand
it.
Back over to Danielle.
Yeah, this is our last slide. So just kind of to wrap things up again, you know, for all of you small businesses that are on this call, if you have interest in working with LAWA, I recommend that you check your firm certifications. If you're not certified, you can reach out to us and we can help guide you and maybe make suggestions as to where you might want to look to get certified. And this is maybe more of a general statement, but kind of think about what public agencies you want to work with, because each public agency has different requirements. So LAWAs might be different from the County of LA, which is different from the City of LA, which might be different from the state of California. So I suggest you do a little bit of homework and research there. Make sure your firm certifications are kind of in order. And then again, email us to make sure you get on the email list so that you can stay informed on our projects, our workshops, events, and all of the fun things. And that's all that we've got for you today.
All right, well, thank you very much, Dr. G and Danielle. Very much appreciate the insight. Next speaker is Mr. Fernando Nieto. Fernando Nieto received his BS in Business Administration from Cal Poly Pomona. He began his career in the County of Los Angeles in 2014 with the Department of Health Services before transferring to the Department of Consumer Business Affairs as a consumer counselor. In 2015, Mr. Nieto transitioned to the Office of Small Business as a small business counselor, where he assisted businesses who are interested in doing business with government through the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, PTAC for short, and help businesses become certified as a local, small, disabled veteran and social enterprises. In October 2018, Mr. Nieto became the program manager over the PTAC and certification programs at the Office of Small Business. And with that, Mr. Nieto, if you can please give us your presentation.
Thank you for that introduction, Jay. Just want to say good afternoon to everybody. Thank you for having me on here. Bianca, you know what? I don't believe I sent slides in. Is it possible I could just share my screen? Can I do that? Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, I think I have it now. Okay, so I'm from the LA County Office of Small Business, and I just want to cover very briefly the three programs that we have at the Office of Small Business. So as was mentioned in my introduction, we operate the LA County's Procurement Technical Assistance Center. There's actually about 94 PTACs throughout the US, and we operate the only one in LA County. What we do essentially is we provide resources and training, and really just primarily, like, our main service is one-on-one technical assistance. One-on-one technical assistance, and we work one-on-one with our clients to try and get them registered in the various government databases, certified, and also to we help them find different opportunities and how to market to their target agencies. We also administer the county's small business certification programs, and we provide counseling to businesses that are interested in doing business with the County of Los Angeles. We have local small business, disabled veteran, and social enterprise programs, and those are all of the county's preference programs. And essentially what a preference program is it is anybody that's certified through a preference program and is competing on county contracts gets the benefit of a 15% bid price reduction. So it really helps make small businesses more competitive. And last but not least, we also operate a small business concierge, which is designed to help aspiring entrepreneurs really that are interested in opening up a business in LA County. We help guide them on developing a business plan, connecting them to capital, and also identifying the licenses and permits that they would need to operate. So what I wanted to do is I really wanted to give like a really high level overview of how to do business with the County of Los Angeles and the steps you need to take. And I'll try to go as quickly as possible. And what I can do also is I'll maybe these slides are embedded with various links that will help you in executing and completing each step. So I could probably provide that to Bianca, who can maybe share with the group. But yeah, so the very first step that you need to do to really do business with any government agency you'll find is register as a vendor. So you can register as a vendor here at this link that's embedded. And a few things that you should have on hand is a signed W-9 that you're going to be required to upload, a sales permit number if you have one, and definitely you'll be needing your tax ID number. The registration is pretty straightforward. We just ask for like a few pieces of information about the business, like contact information, the address, and pretty basic information. And it's a pretty straightforward process. However, there is one step in the registration process that I emphasize to every vendor, and that's the section where you have to identify the products and services that you provide. So a lot of you are probably familiar with NAICS codes or NAICS codes. So the county has a similar system. Essentially with that, the county uses a commodity code system. Essentially what commodity codes are different codes and descriptions that go along with those codes that describe the products and services a business provides. So when you're registering as a vendor, this is an essential step. You have to select commodity codes that apply to your business. So the best way of tackling this is there's a useful search feature, and there's a tool here that you can use to kind of prepare for this step. But essentially you want to prepare a list of, a list of keywords that describe the products and services you sell. Spend some time on this section and make sure you pick all the relevant codes or all the codes that are relevant to you. There's thousands of codes, so any word that you input is probably going to result in a fairly large search, right? And so you just have to go through each one of those. You're going to see a bunch of codes that just don't apply and just contain the word that you're searching for, but you want to make sure you pick the codes that are relevant to you. So actually, I'll stay there for a little bit longer. The reason these codes are so important is because, one, they are how buyers in each department will be able to find you. So essentially, if a department is looking for office furniture, there's going to be a code that's associated with office furniture. And they're going to search for that code and then find what businesses say that they provide that particular product. And so that's how they find you. If you don't have if you sell office furniture and you don't select the office furniture code as part of your profile, then the county is just not going to know that that's something you provide. The other benefit is purchases that are above a certain dollar amount, which is $10,000 or above, have to be posted publicly. It's a county policy. It has to be posted publicly for public solicitation, and each of those postings has a commodity code associated with it. So instead of having to log on to that directory or that website every day saying what's new, you could just get an email in your inbox whenever a relevant opportunity becomes available based on the object codes or the commodity codes that you've selected in your profile. So the next thing I'll cover is it's not necessarily a step or something that you have to, actually do, but it's really useful. And that thing is to understand your target. So you have to recognize that the County of LA is comprised of over 35 departments. And also something that's commonly misunderstood is that the county is separate from the city of Los Angeles. So they're two totally separate entities. What the county is essentially a giant piece of land that contains 88 different cities within it. And most of those cities have their own purchasing, their own contracts. So it's really useful to just understand the breakdown of how the local governments are. And then also with the county itself is that each department, it provides its own services. They each provide their own services. They each provide, and they each buy products and services that are different based on the services that they have to provide the public. Okay. So the next thing that you should be familiar with is the certification programs. So I mentioned at the beginning that the Office of Small Business, my office, administers the certification programs for the county. These are the certification programs. It's local small business enterprise, disabled veteran business enterprise, and social enterprise. So those three are preference programs, which the main benefit is really that they have a 15% bid price preference attached to them. So it helps make you more competitive. And then we also have a community business enterprise, which is like an umbrella certification for woman-owned, minority-owned, and disadvantaged businesses. Now this certification program doesn't actually have that 15% bid price preference, so it's not known as a preference program. But the benefit is that if you get certified through this program, we'll place you on a list. It makes you a lot more visible because what happens is it's a list of diverse businesses, diverse certified businesses. And it's often requested by prime contractors looking to fulfill subcontracting needs, or also just public agencies that are trying to market their open solicitations or their business opportunities. And each of these is a link into like more information on the program, or also the applications to fill out these certification program applications. So the next step is you want to know where are the open county solicitations, right? So you can visit this page. This has all the open county solicitations, or all the solicitations that are currently open. You can search this database by keyword. So any word that you're specifically looking for, you could type it in, see if any solicitation actually contains that, and look into it deeper. And you could really start to investigate whether it's an opportunity that is relevant for you or not. Yeah, I definitely recommend just kind of visiting this page and becoming familiar with how the solicitations are kind of put together. You can download the documents and see all the information that you would need to know about it. The other thing that's a really good way to potentially win business with the county is to get on a master agreement. One of the first steps you have to do, though, before you get on a master agreement is figure out, one, what is a master agreement? And then two, are there any relevant master agreements for the services or the products that I provide? So essentially what a master agreement is it's a list of pre-qualified vendors that the county and different departments will use on an as-needed basis. And in order to get on the master, so what the county does is anything that the county purchases frequently or in great quantity, they're going to create a master agreement just to facilitate and streamline purchases in that particular product or service area. And so that means that whenever, so for example, once again with the office furniture example, whenever a department determines that they need office furniture, rather than going through the process of trying to find a vendor or having to solicit publicly and post it publicly, they could just go through a master agreement and have the vendors on that master agreement bid on whatever it is that the department is looking for. So it really streamlines that process and allows departments to execute purchases a lot quicker. So there's two types of master agreements. There's master agreements for services, and there's master agreements for commodities. Both these links will take you to each of those pages, and there's a contact for each master agreement that you can reach out to in order to get some more information. There's also links to where you can find the the RFSQ. So all master agreements take the shape of a request for statement of qualifications, and you'll be able to find all the documents that are associated with the RFSQ. So one of the other steps that you could take is, let's say you try to search any open solicitations, you don't see anything that's related to you. You try to look at master agreements for services, nothing. Master agreements for commodities, nothing. You don't really see anything that applies to you. So you're wondering is this something you should really pursue? Well, you do have one other option. You can look at closed and awarded solicitations that the county has. This is pretty much a listing of most of the solicitations that were posted publicly on the previous link, and then were subsequently awarded. So this does go back several years, so it does give you like a good glimpse as to what the county has purchased in the past, who has purchased it, and who has actually won those awards, and also what exactly they were purchasing, like more of the details. If it's a service, you could still download all the documents and learn a lot more about it. But if you're trying to determine whether or not you should really pursue trying to do business with the county, then this could be a really good way to do some research, conduct like some market research, and see whether it's something that you should invest more time into. So the next thing I would recommend is just becoming familiar with the purchasing policies and procedures that the county has. So I've mentioned a few already. For one, it can be helpful to know that anything above $10,000 has to be posted publicly, right? Anything below $10,000 actually can be purchased without having to post anything. And it can be done by a department just seeking bids from various vendors. But there's also another method, and it's a method that's actually exclusive to certified vendors. If you're a local small business, disabled veteran owned, or a social enterprise, you have access to a SAP, which is a streamlined acquisition process. Essentially what SAP is it allows departments to make purchases between $5,000 and $25,000 with only obtaining 2 to 3 bids from certified vendors. So that's actually a really powerful tool and a really good incentive for businesses that qualify to get certified. And it's also an incentive for departments to use that tool because it's essentially less work for them. They don't have to, once again, they can avoid the process of having to post things publicly and having to evaluate a bunch of bids. They could avoid that entire process and make an award to a small business or a certified vendor. But you wouldn't necessarily know these things if you aren't familiar with the purchasing policies and procedures of the county. So it could really be, you don't have to read the whole thing, but they do make this information public. And it's good to know just where you can find this information if questions arise in the future, or just to prepare to really, dive deep into doing business with the county.
Hey, Fernando, we need to wrap up, get to the other speakers.
Okay.
There you are. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, really, I was pretty much done. The last slide I was going to recommend is just different resources where you can find more contacts with each department. There's small business advocates that you can reach out to learn about potential opportunities, a list of procurement officers with each department, and a good practice and a common practice really with government contracting is to develop a capability statement to market your business to all the contacts and people you reach out to. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly to my email address, or you can give us a call. Yeah, if you have any questions on that, or if you're interested also in a one-on-one counseling, I'd be happy to work with you on scheduling one of those. And that'll do it for me. Let me just stop sharing. There we go.
Okay. Thank you very much, Fernando.
You're welcome.
I think we're going to have, Dennis, correct me if I'm wrong, but are we going to have the resource links up on our website after the presentations are over?
Yeah, we'll have that, and Fernando will get together with you to get those out and make sure, number one, we'll email the presentation out to the attendees today.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll have that available.
All right, our next speaker, moving right along, is Miss Erin Henning. Miss Erin Henning joined the LADWP team in January 2018 as the Assistant General Manager and Director of Supply Chain Services, and assumed the role of Director of SCS effective July 1, 2018. SCS is responsible for all areas of purchasing, including goods, services, construction contracts, commodities, and equipment. The division oversees a procurement of more than $3 billion of goods and services for the nation's largest municipal utility each year. Ms. Henning comes to LADWP with more than 33 years of service to the city of Los Angeles. Most recently, she was the Chief of Procurement Services at Los Angeles World Airports, overseeing the procurement of more than $500 million in goods and materials annually, and the execution of $14 billion in capital projects, primarily for construction and professional services. She rose through the ranks of the city services, beginning her career in high school as a recreational assistant and the Department of Recreation and Parks, where she audited golf courses and pools for the department. Since then, she progressed through increasingly responsible positions in the city's personnel management department and now at LAWA. Ms. Henning, if you can present your presentation to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dennis and Jay, for having me today. I have to say I was excited to be here, but I'm really more excited to be here because of Dr. Brasfield and Danielle, because I left Los Angeles World Airports right after that contract was awarded. So I'm really happy to see all those small business things that I put into place is in on that contract. So I really am done. I'm done. Now they may hate me, but I know the businesses love me. So if you want
left just in time, I guess, huh?
I did. So if you want to go to the next slide for me. So just a little bit about LADWP. We are the largest municipal water and power utility in the nation. We serve 400 residents, and we issue with goods and some contracts, not all of the major infrastructure contracts, but about 1.3 billion last year. And in addition, we have about 10,000 employees on site. And I personally oversee not only the procurement side, but also the warehousing and inventory. We have about 50 warehouses up and down the state of California. So our geography is bigger than the footprint of City of Los Angeles. It's just something that you should be aware of. Next slide, please. So we buy everything. We operate as our own small city. We have more employees than many cities, but we do materials and equipment. We do a lot of construction and infrastructure work with power poles and power lines, as well as underground work as well with pipes and water. We do some professional services, but with a workforce and a very strong union, professional services is limited. And then there's also some miscellaneous and general services that we buy, like janitorial supplies, office supplies, those kinds of things. Next slide, please. So for us, you will see the majority of our work in invitation for bids, also known as requests for bids. And we want to make sure that everyone is speaking the same language. We do requests for proposals and non-competitive procurements. So we do have purchase cards, credit cards for the department, about 1,000 of them. We spend about $82 million a year with the purchase card. So there's a lot. And Fernando talked about piggyback. So thank you for some of your contracts, because we currently piggyback on your electrical services contract or parts. So that is another way in which we do contract as cooperative agreements with other government agencies. And lastly, we do some single and sole source based on if you're the only provider or manufacturer or the information is proprietary. So the next slide, if we go a little bit further into invitation for bid, I think most people know this as low bid, where we know what we want to buy, we have a part number, and we're really looking for the difference between you and another vendor is the price. So in this method, you should be aware there are no exceptions allowed. If we say that we want it in 30 days and you bid 60 days, your bid will be thrown out as being non-responsive. So please note, we are looking at cost and there are no exceptions allowed. The other thing you should know is you must be responsive and responsible. And what does that mean? Responsive means you got to be on time. You have to fill out all the forms. They have to be signed. We are also looking for responsible bidders. Those are ones that are looking at you as a company or you as a person and making sure that you're acting ethically and honestly in what all the contracting that you do. We're looking at your finances and making sure that you are a good risk and match for us. Next slide, please. Our next method is request for a proposal. I don't think this is new to you. This is where you typically see professional services. We have design build contracts, and this is when we want to consider other things besides cost. Oftentimes it's technical requirements, management, your past experience, but we are a public agency. So we're always looking at cost. Even though it may not be the highest rated criteria in it, cost will always be a factor in our RFP solicitations. Next, please. So here's a really quick slide on the entire process from beginning to end. There's a pre-solicitation phase. Everyone must register on the city's site, labavin.org. It's a free service. The mayor has put it up, and so all city departments are there. And that is when you should obtain your certifications or licenses so that you're prepared to perform work for LADWP or the city of LA. Next is solicitation. So we will post solicitation documents. You will attend pre-bid meetings, complete all the required forms, and then submit any questions you may have. Next is award. We have public bid opening. Most of the time it's 2 o'clock every day. And only responsive bidders, only those that came in on time, we will accept. And then we will look at your compliance forms. And then lastly, make sure that you deliver whatever product that you have bid on and it comes in on time, invoicing and award. So in the city of Los Angeles, we have a lot of certifications. There's small business, there's small local business, and disabled veteran business certificates. One of the other things that we do not ask for up front, but in order to do business in the city of LA, you have to have a business tax registration. That has to be done before contract award. We do not necessarily require you to do that at the beginning because it will cost you to pay taxes in the city of LA, or if you get an exemption. And you will see that website on site, which is finance.lacity.org. So a little bit more about our SBE and DVBE participation. Anything over $150,000, construction, rentals with operators, we evaluate to see what contracting, subcontracting opportunities there are. The department has a goal of 25% annually SBEs and 3% DVBEs. So all of these are looked at on a contract by contract basis. And then there's other preferences that we also consider as well. So in the last years, we've done $58 million with SBE firms, $6.2 million with DVBE firms. We also are tracking minority-owned and women-owned businesses because we do want to have the largest inclusivity that we can. Next slide, please. Other preference program is local business. We too understand that it costs extra money to do business in the city of LA. So we give you an 8% preference. So if you bid on a contract and you're certified as a local business for the city of LA, which means you reside in LA County limits, we will knock 8% off your price, and then that's what we compare to all the other bidders. There is a $1 million cap on this, and you would think we'd never reach that, but we reach it all the time. There's also a small local business program. So those were contracts that are lesser in dollars, under $100,000, and we get a 10% preference on those ones as well. Next slide. Opportunities. So if you go to our website at ladwp.com, we post every quarter future opportunities. And this is a listing of all the contracts that we believe that are going to occur. You can see on the screen, barely, I know it's small, yellow highlighted ones. And so those are ones that are new to the this quarter. The next one that we look at will be July 1, will be a posting. But when you go through it, you get an opportunity to look at it. We sort it by water, power, and joint. So water and power is pretty easy to understand. Joint is everybody else. HR, IT, supply chain, all of our contracts are listed there. And they project out at least 18 months when they're going to be advertised, how much, and a brief description of what they are, so you can prepare yourself and prepare your teams. And we try to keep pretty close to that timeline and hold the divisions responsible for them to keep on those timelines. But with the recent pandemic, some of our timelines have slipped. But like I said, it will be up July 1st. If you send us an email, we can also get you on the list. There's some contacts at the back, so you'll get it automatically every quarter. Or if you just go to our website, it will be posted and you can see what opportunities we expect in the future. Next slide. So I know I've gone quickly, but I really wanted to get to ways in which you can be successful. And some of the stuff is pretty self-evident, but I really want you to know, you need to know who your customer is. In this case, I am the customer. So you need to know what drives me. What are the goals of the city of LA and what are the goals of LADWP? If you don't know, the city has a very aggressive green initiative and with 100% renewable power and sustainable items in the near future. So if you're proposing the worst polluting gasoline sedan on my bid, the likelihood that we're going to award to you is not likely. So you need to align with whatever goals you're trying to propose. Also, you need to be visible. I know you're thinking, what does this mean? But it's attending events like this. It's networking with your peers. You think they're your competition, but you can learn a lot from where they've been and where you need to go. And also, you need to network with the businesses that you want to do business for. You should always have your business card. I could give you many small business examples on how successful small businesses have been, but I think the most relevant one to me right now is during the pandemic, LADWP did not shut down. You still had lights, you still had power, you still had water. So we never went home like many other businesses. And we had a very difficult time finding face coverings and sanitizers for our employees. So I pulled out every single business card I have ever collected. I went to every single networking event I went to and pulled the roster. And I and my staff called every single one of those people to say, can you come and join us as a partner? You would not believe the number of businesses that we now have that are small businesses, that are local businesses, because we needed a response now. And that was their way in DWP. I can't tell you how much I spent on credit card because luckily there was an emergency, so all limits were off. The other thing I want to remind you is ask questions. I know you think, Erin, she's perfect. She would never put out a bid or proposal that is incorrect, has wrong information, but we are all human. And I am not the subject matter expert. Some of the things that we do are very complex. So if you see things that are wrong, we provide a Q&A period. Please let us know. If you think this is an opportunity for you to get one over on your competitor, that DWP is wrong, that part's out of stock, it's been replaced. If you bid the wrong part, you'll be disqualified. So let us know. Ask questions on things that don't make sense to you. Or if you have questions about subcontracting, that is your time. Please ask questions. We are very responsive and are required to answer all those questions. And lastly, do not give up. My second small business story is you don't always hit it out of the ballpark on your first try, or maybe the first 10. But there's a business, Kevin from Almeida Construction, that worked with us with our Small Business Academy. He started with one dump truck with the city of Los Angeles, and he got a contract to haul items with his one dump truck. And Kevin came out to speak with me last year at our Small Business Academy, and he got a contract for the SoFi Stadium. And I said, Kevin, there's no way you could possibly win that contract. And he told me, Erin, I didn't win the whole contract, but I do concrete and I can build the steps. So I can be one part of that stadium in my backyard in Inglewood. So it's not necessarily winning the $580 million contract like LINXS talked about. There is one part that you can play, and no matter how small. And many people asked him how you do it, and he told me one step at a time. So Kevin is a huge success story in Los Angeles. He is fantastic. And my last slide is just some information for you on how you can reach out to us. I do have a small business and supplier relations office that reports to me. You can email them, you can call them. I also have a vendor liaison center. So those are the people you want to call if you want to get that supply line or you want to get any other information about what's going on at LADWP. So I know I went fast, but I wanted to give Miriam some time. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Henning. Next speaker is Ms. Mimi Scott-Long. Miriam Scott-Long, or Mimi, is the Director of Strategic Business and Construction Career Services with Metro's Diversity and Economic Development Department. She serves as a small business advocate and inclusion specialist with an impressive background as a bond analyst on Wall Street, a former deputy county supervisor, and a deputy mayor of the city of Los Angeles. At Metro, Miriam and her team, branded as a Metro Connect, craft events, industry forums, and tech-ins to demystify Metro opportunities. As spokesperson for the Department of Diversity and Economic Opportunity, she affords the various Metro public with information and strategies to take advantage of the programs and services. Mimi, if you can please give us your presentation.
I certainly can. Hello, small businesses, and hello, ABA. Thank you for inviting us here today. Small businesses, let's take a breath for a minute. This is a lot of information for you to take in, and I recognize that. On behalf of Metro, I want to say that we have great respect for small businesses. We cannot do what it is that we are charged to do without you. We have branded ourselves as Metro.net, as Metro Connect, because we want to get really granular with you about how to do business with us. Listen, working with a public agency is, for a small business, can be like trying to get a sip from a fire hose. We recognize that. So what we do at Metro Connect is we actually show you the steps to succeed. Rather than point you in the direction, we actually get in the pool and swim with you. So at first I'd like to say, we offer a workshop that we call How to Do Business with Metro every second Tuesday of the month. So let me start with that. Every second Tuesday of the month at 9:30, we have a workshop that will explain to you who we are, how to do business with us, and what it takes to be successful with us. I invite you to take a look at us because during this time of the pandemic, when we're all stuck at home, or many of us are, this is a good time to get familiar with Metro and with our culture, our lingo, you know, all these alphabets and things that you've heard today and you'll continue to hear. We know how difficult it is to take all that in. So what we have charged ourselves to do at Metro is to actually show you what they mean and how to take advantage of all these different programs you've heard of today. Oh, sorry about that. Unlike the other agencies, Metro is the only one that has an online certification program, which means that you can right now start taking a look at it. Take a look at our certification process. And since it's online, you have time to really like pause, make yourself a password, and really go through what it is that we're going to be asking of you. It is not easy. It's simple, but it is not easy. It's all information that you have already. The difficulty sometimes is putting it all in one place. We have, Dennis, we have another slide, please. Okay, so this slide is an example of the kinds of opportunities that we have for small businesses. But because our programs are so rich, I'm going to focus on a couple of them. Our SB Prime program is a set-aside program where you must be certified as a Metro SBE. Now, you've heard of the different certifications with the different agencies, but listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a certified Metro SBE, then you can take advantage of what we call our SB Prime program. SB Prime program will allow you to bid against each other. You don't have to bid against the big companies for any contracts that are under $5 million. Why that's important to you is because if there are certified SBEs in a NAICS code and they're qualified to do the business, then they will only compete against each other. If there's one in that NAICS code, then they get the business as long as they're qualified to do it. So there's a real incentive to do the work now to get yourself certified with us. I want to say, don't be afraid. I think that that's one of the biggest problems that we meet with our small businesses. They're afraid to put their feet in the water with Metro because we are so large. But we've got $40 billion to spend in the next 20 years. And we want you as a part of LA County to take advantage of it. So like I said, every second Tuesday, you can come online now and come to our How to Do Business with Metro workshop. It's important because we teach you how to be successful with us, but it's important that you get to know us. And as other colleagues of mine have said, it's important that you get to know each other. And we want to show you how to do that. And I like to pick up on where Erin ended to say that if you don't win the first time or the second time or the third time, don't give up. There's a couple of things that you can do. First of all, you are entitled to a debrief on what you did wrong on this particular proposal and what would make you strengthen your proposal next time. Or you can even take a look at some of the proposals that won in the past. So you can kind of craft your own approach to Metro by seeing what was successful in the past. You guys, we have all kinds of things to help you. I don't know if you are familiar with Meriwether-Williams, but we have a firm that works with our interested small businesses to show you how to make a statement of qualifications and show you how to find opportunities, not just with Metro, but with all of the public agencies. This information is available to you on metro.net/connect. Metro.net/connect. Once you get on our website, take a look at our calendar of events. We will show you what's coming up in the next 12 months. We have intimate meetings that we call coffee and conversation, where 20 people in a room talk to Metro executives, really getting to know who makes the decisions. How is it, what are we looking for? What is the difference between a successful bid and one that doesn't make it this time? We don't expect you to intuit that. We want to show you how to win. What we're asking is that you join us. Come and join us and learn from us how to be successful with us. If you look on our calendar of events page, you'll see that we have done workshops on how to impress our primes. One of the mistakes that we see, and Geo and Danielle and Fernando and everybody who's on, and Erin who's on with us can tell you, there are some very common things that small businesses do that knock them out of the competition. For instance, you never know who could be a partner or who it is that makes the actual decision on a bid that you're working on. And quite often when we have events, our small businesses don't know how to take advantage of the few minutes of face time that you have with a prime. So to work on that, we are having a matchmaking session toward the end of July, where our small businesses who are certified with us as SBEs or DBEs can get 5 to 10 minutes of face-to-face time with primes. But before you do that, we want to show you how to be successful, what to say, what not to say, and also show you how to research a firm. Like if you're going to work for Flatiron, you don't just go to Flatiron and say, what opportunities do you have? You want to know who Flatiron is. You want to know who DWP is. You want to know what is their strength, what are they looking for in the future. And if you're familiar with Metro, you can say to them, listen, I understand that Metro's got this project coming up next year. I am qualified in this area and I would like to prime or work with you. That's a lot more effective than you're not going begging, asking for porridge. You're coming, bringing an opportunity to the primes, and it should go both ways. So we have lunch and learns with our primes where they will sit and tell you what they see. We have meet the buyers and meet the primes as I've talked about recently. We have this great how to do business with Metro, which is all of this is virtual now, you guys, because we're in the twilight zone. So since it's virtual, you don't want to miss these opportunities to get to know us better. We really want to know you too. And I want you to understand something. When we say we need you, we're not kidding. We need small businesses in order to be successful. We've spent over $300 million with small businesses in these past few years, and we have a lot more money to spend. But we need to help you come and get familiar with us, and I can't emphasize that enough. If you go to metro.net/connect, go to our calendar of events, see what it is that's coming up, and come and get to know us. I'm telling you, it'll be worth your time, and it will help you in doing business with my colleagues. So yes, I see that it's time to start wrapping up, but please understand, we understand how difficult it is for small businesses to step into the arena with these big organizations and primes. So the way that we can work together is if you come to our events, get to know us, let us help you. When Erin was talking about Kevin Ramsey a few minutes ago, we have lots of stories like that, including one with Kevin. So we'd like to make you a small business success too, and we have what it takes to do that. So I hope to see you online, metro.net/connect, metro.net/connect. And let me say to my partners, Jan Davis and Olga Lopez, who are online with us, the three of us, we are small but mighty. So if you come to metro.net/connect, we're here to help you. Thanks everybody for listening. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you so much, all the panelists, for joining us today. I'm going to turn it over to Dennis for closing remarks. I think we wanted to have a Q&A session, but I think we're out of time, unfortunately. But we would invite you to look up the references that are going to be available to you today. Again, all of the panelists, thank you so much for taking out your time to provide valuable information to our members today. And with that, Dennis, if you can close out for us.
Sure. I just want to take a minute to really thank each and one of you. I know there's a lot of big organizations out there, and I know kind of ours is sort of that niche play, but there are very enabled Asian American entrepreneurs here that really do business with our public agency. So it really means a lot that you guys take the time to come out and kind of show us the ropes and how to get there. And great resources. If we can, and folks that are on today as well, any ongoing questions, please email us directly. We would try to procure all of the information and then send it to the respective folks to get an answer for you. So anything out there that you have, that you heard on this call, that you need more clarification, please take the time to do that for us. But I really want to thank you, Jay, as well, for taking the time. I know you have been really, really busy in the last 2 months as well. So I know to make the time to do this for us, and I really appreciate your leadership on our board as well. On behalf of the association, I want to thank you. And that's all we have. And folks, hope to see you, and maybe next week, maybe the week after. I know we have a lot of things going on as well. We also have some fun stuff that will be put on every month, sort of our mixers that we break out each other rooms and stuff. I know I'm trying to plan on some kind of escape room for our people, do a virtually teaming, kind of fun things as well. So we'll be, those are kind of in the works, but hopefully just kind of join in the network. What folks said earlier, we'll continue to get the message out to everybody. but just want to thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
About that, thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Be
you,
well,
everybody.
everybody.
Thanks so much. Take care.